well, welcome to Imperfect Together. I am so glad that you're here with us. We are, if you just watched the last episode, you'll notice we're still wearing the same clothes. And it's still us here.
It's still Micah.
Yeah, so because last week we were quarantined, and now this week Zach actually got COVID, which we talked about in the last episode.
Yep.
So we're filming 2 episodes in the same day, so don't hate on us. Yes,
hate.
we're wearing the same clothes.
Don't hate us
Micah's
because you
still
ain't
here
us.
with me. But if you didn't see the last episode, this is Micah.
Hey.
Micah, senior at Greenwood.
Yep.
And so to start this off, if you could change one thing about yourself, like just anything, like
that's a hard
your
one.
eye colors, your nose, whatever. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Oh, my eyes. I wish I had brown eyes.
Wow.
Brown eyes are so... People always ask me this.
Yeah, blue eyes.
I think brown eyes are the coolest ever.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just think they're so cool. I think they look masculine to me.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Oh.
I like
My
them.
wife has brown eyes.
I like brown eyes.
She looks very
They're
masculine.
cool.
No,
That is not what I mean. I mean for like a boy.
Uh-oh, she's calling right
Speaking
now.
of your wife.
I have to cancel that. I would, the main thing I would change, if I could change anything, I would be about at least 6 inches taller.
Oh, I would change my height too. I wish I was a little bit taller too.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm still growing.
Listen,
so.
I had to do it. Man, she's really trying to get a hold of me. If she calls a third time, we're going to have to stop this. I was doing a wedding this past weekend, and the dude, I always hate doing weddings because I'm always the shortest guy. Even probably than the bride sometimes. And when you're standing behind them, you're talking, and everybody's like, where's the guy talking? You can't see.
Yeah.
So the guy I was doing a wedding for was like 6'5".
Oh my.
He was massive.
He was like...
So I'm doing the vows, I'm looking up like this. You know, and then the girl, she was obviously in heels, so she was like, we were about the same. But still, I'm like, man, I feel terrible right now.
Yeah.
I feel like such a dwarf. And like when we were walking down, I was going first, and then you had the groom who was like 6'5", and then the guy right after that was like 6'5" too. And so it's like there's just massive guys all around me, and I'm just little 5'6" guy. Like, I just want to be 6 foot. That'd be so nice. But anyways, I can't change that. But what about if you were to think about just the last 3 to 5 years? What do you think has changed the most about you, just in general, in the last 3 to 5 years?
I think my confidence has gone up. Like
Okay.
As a kid, I was not confident at all. Like I always was that kid that was like afraid to do anything. But I feel like I'll talk to anyone now. I'll be open to anyone. I'll do anything.
So what changed? How did that happen?
I think part of it is maturity and growing up. And then the other part is just, high school. I feel like high school, you have to open up. Like you can't just be put in your little hole forever,
Yeah, jump in the pond, or you're gonna.
Or else you're
I
gonna
don't know where I was gonna go with that analogy, but.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know me. Like I talk to anyone now.
Yeah.
I used to not be like that. So.
Me neither. Actually, I was always very timid.
Yeah.
Listen, when I was even when I was in college, or heck, even in my first church where I was a full-time youth pastor, I was scared to death to speak in front of people. It's not good for my job when I have to do that every week. And it took a lot of you just had to do it. Like I hated every time we had class and I had to get up and give a talk, like I would be so nervous. And like everybody else in the room was like super confident, whatever. And then I'm just like, man, am I doing the right thing? Like this is not. But over time, the more you do it, then you just get better at it.
I hated meeting new people. I was never the person that liked talking to new people. I was always in my own group, getting the comfort level. I was never I would never go uncomfortable for me. But now I'll do whatever, so I don't care.
I like it. I like it. So I think, for the most part, we are pretty accepting of change.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we expect things like that. It's like change in music. Like you may listen to different music than you did. Or we all know these people they used to just listen to this type of music, and now they listen to this. It's like, how did you get there?
Goth.
I went from Tupac to Randy Travis, and
all right.
they're like, who's Randy Travis? That's
Country
an old
singer.
school country singer right there.
Country singer.
So on one hand, we expect change, but then on the other hand, like when it comes to like the way we view people's behaviors, You ever had those moments you're like, dude, that person's never gonna change. Like
Yeah.
you're such a jerk. Like I don't like you, and they're never gonna change. They're always gonna be that way, right? So we have these feuding of we expect change, but then when it comes to behaviors, we're like they're never gonna change. And even if we look at ourselves, there are certain things about us we feel like, oh, I can never change this. I can never be more confident. Or I'm never gonna be able to speak in front of people, or I'm never gonna get over this bad habit I have, whatever that bad habit is. And we're really quick to judge other people because that's really what it is. Like, oh, they're never going to change. So why do you think it's so difficult for us to believe that we can change or that other people will change when it comes to like bad habits or behaviors or things we don't like about people or ourselves?
I just think maybe it's because it's so bad that like it's hard to recover from it. Like, this person, say like someone's been a jerk for you your whole life, and you'll never think they'll change because they've always been a jerk, so you'll never forgive them, you know? Kind of like that.
What about yourself?
Well, I just feel like it's because it's ourself and we're not open to change. Sometimes
We're self-sabotaged.
Yeah. I think that's for me. For me, it's hard for me to change my actions, but it's easy to... That's why, like, whenever I shot my confidence, I was like, whoa. I did not...
Surprise yourself,
I was like, whoa.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I think, man, if I look back in my high school days, I mean, like, I can even look now. There's a lot of things I wanted to change. Maybe it was a bad habit or a sin or whatever. Like, I didn't want to do it, but like I just couldn't like, or at least in my mind, I felt like I'm never going to be able to beat this. I'm never be able to overcome this, and so we kind of almost give up. Like, well, it is just it is who I is.
It's because we have to give up so many things in order to change sometimes.
Oh,
so like sometimes
point.
you'll have to like say if I wanted to change something, I'll have to like put aside things in my life in order to change.
So it takes work, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
We don't want to. So we're lazy. That's what it comes
We're
down
lazy.
to. We're lazy.
Sometimes.
Hey, you might have found something there.
But yeah, just dug deep right there.
That's funny.
We dissected that.
Well, we're done. We can go home now.
There we go.
So for the last month, and this will be the last time we're talking about Zacchaeus. I feel like I've been talking about Zacchaeus for forever.
I'm like every single week. I'm okay, where's Zacchaeus?
You know, we have really dug into the whole Zacchaeus story, but we're finally getting to a new part of it.
Hey, yay.
But we've been talking about Zacchaeus, and if you're just jumping in on this, here's the quick recap. He was a bad dude. He stole from people.
Guy.
Nobody liked him. He had no friends.
He was short.
He was short, just like we have that in common.
There you go. He was Zacchaeus.
I don't want to be Zacchaeus. Yeah, he was a bad dude. Nobody liked him. Jesus came into town and said, Zacchaeus, I'm coming to your house. And here is, when Jesus did that, it completely shocked the crowd, right? Because Jesus was he was almost like a big-time celebrity. And here's, when he said, Zacchaeus, I'm coming to your house, it says in Luke 19 that all the people saw this and began to mutter, he has gone to be the guest of sinners, right? So they were ticked off. So here's the situation. It would be like who's your favorite celebrity?
Mark Wahlberg.
Why Mark Wahlberg?
Because he's a conservative. I shouldn't have said that, but... And because he's a cool dude.
He does a lot of cool things.
He's
I heard a story about him today, actually, where he has been... he'll leave like massive tips when he goes out. And so he left this like $2,000 tip for somebody.
Yeah.
And instead of her just keeping it, she went and like gave a lot to like the busboy and the cooks and like spread it around there. And then she took the rest of it and got meals for people, like Thanksgiving meals.
Mark Wahlberg's doing something.
She just passed it forward. Yeah. So good guy. Anyways, it'd be like Mark Wahlberg walking into your school and then finding the biggest jerk in the school. The one that nobody likes, and said, hey, I want to hang out with you.
I'd drop.
I want to mentor you. What would that make you feel like?
I'd drop to my knees. I'd be like, like, come on, Mark, I'm right here.
Like, really, dude?
Come on.
That guy?
This guy. Yeah.
I'm your biggest fan.
I'd be pretty pissed. I mean, I'd be pretty teed off about it.
I would too. I mean, would that change the way you see Mark?
Oh, definitely not.
It wouldn't?
No, I don't feel like it would. Nothing could upset me.
You're like, okay.
It's Mark Wahlberg.
Bad judge right there of character, but I still love you.
You haven't met him. It's fine. You didn't know.
Yeah, just give it 5 minutes. You'll come back and pick somebody else to hang out with. Okay, but that's basically the situation here. Jesus was that big of a celebrity. Now, let's put ourselves in Zacchaeus' shoes. So he is a guy that he had no friends, nobody liked him. Now all of a sudden Jesus is like saying, I'm coming to you. It's like he's the bully that Mark Wahlberg just picked out.
Yeah.
Right? How, if you put yourself in his shoes, what's going through your mind right there?
First off, I'd be like, okay, why me? You know something about me that I don't know. And then second off, I'd be like, well, I'm the big shot now, so I'd walk around that place being like, hey guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you're with Jesus. I mean, you're automatically cool.
I wonder, so I mean, obviously, here's how Zacchaeus responded. I mean, we can talk more about it, but it says, Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor, and if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount. So just by Jesus...
He confessed everything.
Just by Jesus saying, hey, I'm coming to your house.
He's like, okay.
He's like, okay, I did it. I swear, I'm guilty. I'm gonna fix it all.
He knew he was wrong.
He did. And like something changed in him when Jesus sought him out and treated him like a normal human being, because nobody treated him that way.
Yep.
And I wonder too, like if we think about the whole guy in school that nobody likes, how could he be different if we treated him different instead of treating him
like a bully?
Like a bully.
Yeah.
Even if he is, I don't know. That's not where we're going with this, but it's just a thought. But Jesus ended up seeing Zacchaeus and what he could do and what he could be instead of judging him by his past. So have you ever had someone believe in you that maybe when you didn't believe in yourself?
Yeah, maybe. I think I have. Yeah.
Got any examples?
Like teachers.
Okay, give me an example. I think, listen, teachers can be huge in this area for good or bad.
Yeah. So I had a teacher that I knew I was a bad kid. Like I knew like in school I wasn't like a bad kid. I just talk a lot. Like I knew that I'd always get in trouble with teachers. So I had like a bad reputation of talking. But this teacher saw something in me that I did not see in myself, and she like spoke life into me, and I was like,
What'd she say?
She said that, Micah, I know that you're a good kid and you're going to go far places. And as a kid, you're like, okay. But now that I think of it as a high schooler, I was like, this lady, she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. So I was like.
Did that change you immediately, or was it kind of just, okay, sure. And then over time you started realizing it?
It wasn't like the next day I came to school and I was like the perfect
It's not
kid.
like the giant coach speech that just changes your life.
As I got older and realized, because I feel like there's some things as a kid that you can't really grasp, but as you get older you can grasp. So as I was getting older and I reflected over that stuff, I was like, this lady really spoke into me, because no other teacher were they liked me obviously because I talked and laughed and stuff, but no teacher actually said I'm gonna go places and do something good. So I was like, okay, so this lady saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, Yeah,
listen, I think when people believe in us and can see the potential inside of us, it changes everything, because we're so good at putting ourselves down, and we're so good at hearing other people talk trash about us or think this about us, or they may not even think anything about us, but in our minds we think that they think something about us, and we have this whole story built up in our head that's not even true about who we are. And so it's so almost countercultural when somebody actually believes in you and says, man, Micah, you may be a punk right now, but I really believe in you.
You're going to go places, man.
And it's like, if you take that to heart, that can change everything for you. And I think that's who Jesus is, and that's what Jesus did with Zacchaeus, is he saw the potential in him when Zacchaeus didn't even see it in himself, right? And so by him even going and confessing everything, it was in that moment when Jesus sought him out, it was kind of like something changed in his heart. And he realized, this is not who I want to be. And I can change. I can be different. And I'm going to start right now. Because we can say we're going to change.
But
it actually takes action to make that happen. You know, and if that can happen for you, and if that can happen for Zacchaeus, I mean, that can happen for anyone. I mean, that's who Jesus is. When Jesus, like, he knows our potential, and he wants to help us reach our potential. And it's because of Jesus that anybody can change.
I also think that's like whenever we do, like whenever we hear from Jesus, we're so shocked because we know, like, we think to ourselves that we're not good enough for that, you know? So that's like, sometimes whenever I do something, I'm like, I don't deserve his grace, but yet he still gives it to me, you know?
Yeah. No. So I want to jump on something there. You said anytime we hear from Jesus. I think a lot of times, like, if we grew up in church, we understand that language.
Yeah.
Other times it's like, hear from Jesus. How do you hear from Jesus? You know, does he talk to you out loud? You know?
Y'all are missing out.
What are some ways that that Jesus speaks to us, that we hear from Jesus?
I feel like sometimes in, like, worship, like, I don't know, you'll just feel something rush through you. Like, I'll feel something rush through me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, he's speaking to me. Or, like, you could be doing something, and all of a sudden you do hear voices in the back of your head, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's Jesus.
But it's not like an out loud.
No. It's not like, Micah, you know, like...
You got James Earl Jones or...
Yeah. No.
Or, oh, man.
It's like, almost like a conscious, you know?
Yeah.
Like you have people telling you. I don't know. It's hard to...
No, I think you're right. I think Jesus speaks through... He speaks through people.
Yeah.
He speaks through his word. He can speak through music. You know, a lot of times it's just those thoughts that come into our head. Is all ways that kind of Jesus speaks to us. And sometimes we don't recognize it because we're not necessarily looking for it or we don't know what it is. And that's why I wanted to bring it up because I'm sure there's a lot of people watching or listening. They're like, what does that actually look like?
Kind of like whenever we're having a bad day and someone will just out of the blue, you don't even know them, come up and say something nice. You're like, okay, that could be Jesus speaking to you.
It could be. No, absolutely. So let me ask you this. If we're looking at all of this and potential and Jesus, if we truly believe that Jesus loves us and he sees the potential that we have in our lives, even sometimes we don't see it, just like your teacher did, how has Jesus being a part of your life and your story changed your life?
Well, I think he found me whenever I was in my low, and I knew that I was the worst. Like, I knew that I was not the kid that I thought I would be growing up in high school, that I thought I was going to be the perfect Christian kid. So I think he found me whenever I was at my low, and I knew that I didn't deserve his love, and yet he still showed it to me, you know? So.
And in what ways, what are some things that you're doing now that maybe you never thought would have happened, or when you were younger thought maybe that could happen, and then you just walked away and got low, and then now you're in a place where you're not there? How has Jesus used you, and how is he using you now?
Well, I think first off, I mean, I'm helping out with, you know, Wednesday nights, and I come to Sunday nights, and I knew, like I was talking before, I didn't have any confidence, but I feel like God has used me and my confidence, you know, to help on Wednesday nights, and help students who, you know, I've been in the same place as them, so I can, you know, reach out, and I'm not afraid to talk to kids now, like, about stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and then also I feel like doing Bible studies and doing Wednesday nights, I feel like he's put people in my life, like you and Tim and Zach, that, like, I never thought would be in my life, you know? Because I was always one of those, I was that kid that would brush away and make fun of, you know, kids that were like hardcore Bible people, but now I'm one of those hardcore Bible people, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but you're still, it's part of real life, right?
Yeah.
It's not a, oh, I'm a Christian and I gotta do this, and this, and if you do that, you're of the devil, and, you know, I don't see you like that. You weave it well just into life, in who you are. And I think that's what being a Jesus follower really is about.
And now that I'm growing up, I'm like, really, if we look at it, nobody's a perfect Jesus follower. Like we all have stuff.
We're all screwed up.
We all have stuff going on behind that nobody's seen. Like we may be a Christian in the front and party in the back, but
no, I agree, and obviously that's why I'm here today too.
Yeah.
Jesus came in and changed my life. I mean, when I was a kid, I was like 10 when I started following Jesus. But before that, like, obviously I wasn't doing anything really crazy. My biggest thing though was like I cussed like a sailor as a kid.
Oh,
Mostly just because like my neighbors across the street who were friends, they just thought it was cool. They would laugh every time, so I just did it like that. And but like, and this doesn't happen all the time, but like when I started following Jesus, like that thing immediately like just stopped for me. Like I almost hated it. Now I'm not anti-cussing and all that kind of stuff, but for me, like in that moment, it completely changed me. And like I said, that following Jesus doesn't mean all the things just all of a sudden stop changing. That just happened for me.
Yeah.
The rest of it, there was still a lot of things I had to grow.
Stuff happens for different people.
Right. And so I think we've both experienced like the change that can happen when Jesus steps into our story. And like if you're watching this, like the same can happen for you too. If you're watching or listening.
And it may not be like ours, like how it happened. It could be something different for y'all. So
yeah, I think it goes back to what you were talking about earlier. We just have to be open to it.
Yeah.
And we just have to say, you know what? Maybe there is some more potential and purpose in my life than I give myself credit for.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes, people can step in and help us realize that. But I think a big part of that is just when you choose to follow Jesus, you begin to get this purpose in life and you begin to realize what you were here for.
Yeah.
All right. And that can be anything in a lot of different ways. But I think the big takeaway though is that we can change.
Yeah.
But for I think a lot of it takes Jesus stepping in and helping us in that process because we can't do it alone. Like we can say we want to change all we want, but really it takes Jesus stepping in and say, let me help you with this and putting the right people in your life so that God can begin to change us. And I think another thing too that we're probably terrible about as human beings is the way that we judge others based off their mistakes. So I think it's important that we also start seeing people that way.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? You are a big jerk. I don't like you one bit right now. But I'm not going to say you can't change. And so maybe there's some things I can do to help show the love of Jesus to you.
I think we have to see people how Jesus sees people, like, because he's not, like, he looks at people and he's like, okay, yeah, you sinned, but I still love you, Yeah. I'm looking at people being like, okay, yeah, no.
Yeah, maybe we should just start seeing the potential in them instead of judging them for their mistakes. And who knows what kind of change or effect that can have in their life, that Jesus is using you to make a difference in somebody else's life. I mean, obviously, we're never going to know that till we try.
No.
But like, so what would be, and we'll close this, what would be like, if you could think of somebody in your life, and you don't have to tell me who it is, but if you could think of somebody that you just say, man, that person, they're never going to change. Whether it be because of something they do, some kind of behavior, attitude, whatever. What are some practical things that you could do to help be that teacher, like your teacher was for you, be that person that helps them reach their potential or see something in it that they don't?
I feel like you just gotta like kind of reach out, and I know that's hard to do because you dislike that person, but I think whenever you reach out, they might see like, oh, like something's happening there. So I feel like if we reach out and then we start talking about it, I feel like if they want to, they'll give into it. Like they'll talk to you about it,
No, not everybody we try to do that with is going to work. But we don't give up. Yeah, we keep seeing the potential. We keep saying, I think we just keep loving on them, not in an annoying way.
Not like jam Jesus down there.
Yeah, you don't want to do it annoying because that's just going to make things worse. But just being there, just letting them know,
hey man, I'm here for you.
Yeah, little things like that I think can go a long ways. So that's my challenge to you. One is don't be so hard on yourself, and realize there's potential in you. So if you feel like you can't change, you can. Jesus will help you with that. And then 2, make sure you're trying to see the potential in other people and care for others.
Yeah.
Because this life isn't just about us, right? We are human beings. We're all jacked up. This is why this is called Imperfect Together. Because we're all imperfect.
Yeah.
Right? None of us got it figured out. But hey, we are there to support each other. So anyways, any final thoughts for you?
I just think, like Chris said,
Ditto.
ditto.
Hey, well, thanks for being here, man. I've enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
And hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we hope to see you next week on our next episode. We will not be wearing the same clothes next time.
See ya.
All right, see you later. Love you guys.